Before the show, you brought up a topic. They released top 100 players in the NFL.
Yeah. How many Lions do you think are on that list? Give me a guess.
I mean, I was in on this conversation, so let's let Spenny guess.
Let's see. Penne, Amon-Ra, Goff, Hutch, Frank. That's probably it. Probably 5.
There's 5, but you didn't name all of them correctly.
Ooh.
Who do you think is rated the highest?
Penei Sewell.
Would have been my guess.
That was my guess, too. No.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Wow.
Aiden Hutchinson's ranked 19th. Okay.
Now, what was their – was this voted on by the players? Or?
No, that's why –
Okay.
Look, the players did a vote, and the Lions had – Frank Ragnow was on it. It's I think that means a little bit more to me than, with all due respect
Your
to
peers.
every member of the media. I want to it's hard to find, I believe, something true objective, because I think a lot of players vote for their buddies.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of members of the media hold it against certain players if they're not willing to talk to them.
Yeah.
I remember trying to interview Randy Moss one time, a complete jerk. And I thought to myself, man, but he's one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Right.
You can't hold that against him. There's too many members of the media who hold things against. I mean, think about this for a second.
Oh,
right?
the baseball writers of America?
Oh, for God's sake. I mean, there's somebody out there who, we'll keep it, recent. Somebody out there really said, Ken Griffey Jr. is not a Hall of Famer.
Right. He shouldn't be on first ballot because nobody goes first ballot.
Somebody said that about Ken Griffey Jr. Somebody said it about Ty Cobb. Somebody said it about Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams. The first flipping guy who gets 100% of the votes is a reliever. It's a closer. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
That's how messed up that stuff is. But I digress.
Yeah, it should almost be a standard, like where if they look at these votings and you're like the one guy who didn't get it right, they should revoke you being able to write about baseball. If you can't even recognize what everybody else is seeing with their eyes,
It's incredible.
you may be biased.
I get to certain arguments with Scott Rowland, but Ted Williams is arguably the greatest hitter of all time. Somebody said no to that.
That's
okay?
wild.
Somebody said no to that. Somebody said no to Mickey Mantle. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
But back to the Aiden Hutchinson being the top listed player for the Lions, because Spenny, you had the same reaction I did. You had the same reaction I did. Like, Penei Sewell, to me, is the top Lions player. I wouldn't even put Hutchinson as the top 3, right? Like, you got, because Amon-Ra, I would put over Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah. And this isn't a knock on Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch is great.
I would not do that.
You wouldn't put Amon-Ra over him?
No, maybe I look at it wrong, but I'll tell you the reasoning. I think Penei Sewell's the best tackle in football.
Yep.
Trent Williams, obviously, but he's got the lock in right now with San Francisco. I think Penei Sewell's the best tackle in football. If somebody said, go pick a tackle right now from the NFL and start your franchise, he'd be the guy because he's only 23 years old.
Right.
Okay?
Crazy.
So,
crazy.
Wide receiver-wise, with all due respect to Amon-Ra St. Brown, would you do that with him? I bet you the 4 of us could collectively name, and it's nothing against him. I think he's a hell of a player. I think there's about 10 other guys you could argue for. Hutchinson, I would say there's probably another 5 guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could have the same argument for defensive end.
Garrett, yeah.
Okay. But for Amon-Ra St. Brown, I was asked a question the other day. Was it you, Spenny, that asked me, would I trade Amon-Ra St. Brown straight up for Justin Jefferson?
No.
And
okay. And are you about to say no?
I am about to say no.
Oh, my God.
With a caveat, because of the understanding and the continuity of this offense, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown plays his role in this offense at an A-plus level. Do you think Justin Jefferson's going to take that to an A+++?
I don't think who cares about the offense? You don't think Justin Jefferson can adjust to the offense? What's the one thing we've all said about the Lions' need from a wide receiver standpoint?
Well, they need that deep. They need a deep threat.
Who's the best deep threat in football?
Right, but then who's going to play the Amon-Ra role? Who's your underneath guy? Who's your possession guy? You can find
some underneath guys.
Not like Amon-Ra, though. And that's what makes this offense go. So that's what makes it very interesting is because of the success that they've had. And I get it, talent-wise, if we're doing measurables, if we're having the Flannel Sam conversation, it's like, okay, this guy runs a better 40, he's taller, blah, blah, blah.
But if we're talking about the 40 time, I care about performance. And for sure, Amon-Ra St. Brown's got the performance. It's turned into almost I don't want to knock Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a phenomenal player, deserves to be a Pro Bowl, love that he's a Lion. I would have signed him to that extra contract too, okay? But Justin Jefferson's in borderline league of his own. I mean, if you're talking about the best wide receiver in football, Justin Jefferson is in the conversation for that title. And I'm not sure. I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown is.
I think he's beginning to pry into that conversation, right? As of last year, he's in that conversation. The way he got paid, he's in that conversation.
The way you get paid, look, Brandon Ayuk's going to get a lot of money too. Do you think he's the best wide receiver in football?
I'm not an Ayuk guy. Yeah, I'm not an Ayuk guy.
But you're talking about paid. If it's all determined by how much you get, then Jared Goff is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in football, right?
You don't have to debate that with me. I agree. I agree with that.
But he's not. Right?
He is though. But he is though.
No, he's not.
I mean, he's top 5 in yards, right? Top 5. I mean, right?
He was top 5 in yards last year.
Yeah.
So and they were They were number 2 in scoring, right?
So I guess 2 is better than he is, since he led the league in yards.
Well,
I guess Dak Prescott's better.
But
since
we're adding more things to that too, because they also led the league in scoring, and I think yardage and points are probably the 2 most important things you want on offense, right?
I would, instead of yardage, I'd rather see touchdown to interception ratio. Okay, or if you want to go completion.
I mean, didn't
percentage,
Jared Goff go like 400 passes without throwing an interception to start the season?
Yeah, but I don't know 400.
What was that number?
It was a pretty.
I think Dak Prescott led the league in 400 completions. I don't think Jared Goff went 400. I could be wrong there. All I'm saying
it was the end of last season, the beginning of this season. He crossed some like unbelievable number, and then he threw like 3 in one game. So
383.
300, so almost 400, Shep.
Yeah.
So if you're talking touchdown to interception ratio, that's a pretty good ratio.
It's a fantastic ratio. All I'm saying, and you're right. We move the goalposts. We use different statistics to.
That's what makes sports fun.
It makes it beautiful. I just don't think many people. He's a top 10 quarterback. I don't think many people would say he's top 5. That's all. And the same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Not knocking them. I'm just saying Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra St. Brown. There aren't many guys. Let's put it this way. There aren't many wide receivers I'd rather have than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
And Jefferson's one of them.
Jefferson's one of them.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is one of them.
Looking at the chat right now, best deep threat in the NFL is Tyreek Hill. So there's that. Jefferson's a diva and doesn't have grit. What do you think about that?
Disagree.
All right, a better fit, so I wouldn't trade for him. So somebody agrees with me on that. Yeah. Deep threats are harder to find than slot guys, so somebody agrees with you. That's Jay Thomas. Amon-Ra isn't I'm not going to swear because we're at the golf course, but isn't a B word either. Do
you think Justin Jefferson is?
I mean, did you watch the wide receiver thing on Netflix?
Yeah, I did.
He's a little bit more of a diva, a little bit more flashy. Jetta, he's got his jet. Like, you're telling me you wouldn't rather have an employee, let's just refer to them as employees, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's going to show up every day, put in the extra work, be that guy, or do you want a guy that's showing up with his gold chains and?
Oh man,
what do you want? What do you want?
Be careful.
What do you want? You want the flash or you want the grit?
Wait a minute, you're judging a guy based on his gold chains. Number one, you don't think Justin Jefferson put in the work? He was there on off day while he was hurt in that pool, working his tail off to get better. He wanted to come back in when he had a lacerated spleen. Don't give me that. You don't like him, that's okay.
It's not that I don't like him.
I'm referring more to the texter. Right. Don't start making stuff up that he's just because he's a diva. How many divas? Michael Irvin was a diva.
Yeah, good wide receiver.
Randy Moss was a diva.
Mm-hmm.
The's plenty of
wide
receivers.
Being wide receiver.
Absolutely.
But we have a star, and like Kelvin, furthest from a diva, right? So for some reason, Detroit acquires these excellent wide receivers that don't have that diva mentality, and I'll take that because to me that gives you. It doesn't make you a.
Oh yeah,
that's right, baby. How about that, man? Not to just diverge from our whole conversation, but the energy for the Lions that has been provided over the past year and like that preseason game selling out.
We're arguing about whether or not a guy's a top 5 player in his position.
It's a great conversation.
It's hilarious.
Where was he ranked in the top 100? Do you remember Jefferson compared to?
He was ranked, I believe, 7th.
Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
And Amon-Ra was what, 30th?
26th.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. That makes
26. That doesn't convince me one way or the
No,
other.
I was
by
just
the way,
wondering because that's
okay?
what started this whole conversation was this list.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean to me, ESPN is gospel. No way.
Yeah.
They're both in the top 100 players based on what players voted too. I just think there are certain guys who belong in the great conversation, the conversation that he's a great player to be in the top 5, and I think Justin Jefferson is one of them. He's a phenomenal player. If he's a diva, I want to know this. Are you going to be healthy to play every Sunday? And I know he got hurt, but again, he wanted to come back in laceration. And are you going to be productive? He's beating double teams on a regular basis. All right?
He had 1,000 yards in 10 games last year.
Yeah.
With Nick Mullins throwing him the ball.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and who's the other one throwing the ball before Nick
Kellen
Mullins?
Mond. And
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
The Pastronaut.
Yeah.
God, what a flash in the pan. He had 4 weeks of being the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
Here's the other
then
thing.
he never played again.
This is the other thing that kills me. First of all, we associate diva with wide receiver. Right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of divas who are cornerbacks and quarterbacks. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers is a diva.
The biggest.
Right? Okay. Matthew Stafford played here for a long time, was really productive, was not a diva. People did not like him.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear about, he wants it. You had plenty of guys on your team in the past who weren't divas, who were highly productive, and who loved being here, loved playing here. And you said, get him out.
Yeah,
which is your prerogative. That's fine.
But with this conversation, it's almost all things being equal, let's start getting granular with it and look at what it provides to the team. And I don't know if Justin Jefferson's a Dan Campbell guy. He's a great football player, but is he a Dan Campbell guy? And you know what? We're blessed with Amon-Ra St. Brown. It makes for a fun conversation. Nobody is throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson this year. Who they got? Sam Darnold starting there now?
Sam Darnold, yep.
Man, they
that
got
should scare the hell out of Minnesota.
Yeah, especially since JJ's no longer in the equation either.
Yeah, you think he would have started?
Yeah.
I don't think, not to start the season.
Not week 1, but probably by week 3, week 4.
He was on track, I think, to start. I mean, in today's NFL, when you're investing as much as you are, more and more people are willing to take the chance with the first-round quarterbacks, whether it be Caleb Williams, who's earned it, Jaden Daniels, who seems to have earned it too.
Yep.
Drake May looked really good last night.
Bo Nix.
Right? Bo Nix looked really good for Denver. I'm not saying he's going to be the rookie of the year, but he looked really good. I think more and more teams are going, you know what? Because of the advanced offenses in college football, because of how similar it may be, and the forcing quarterbacks, young quarterbacks now, with those reads at the collegiate level to step up in the next, I think the transition's becoming a little bit easier for them.
It's becoming easier, and as you know, you want that rookie quarterback contract. It makes the whole team a lot easier to build. But when you do have a guy that's proven like Jared Goff, I don't mind giving him the bag either because it's tough to replace that. It's a lot easier to get worse than get better at that position.
For sure.